Hello, I'm Anne Boleyn, and in this episode I'll tell you all about when I finally became Queen. Now, the relationship between Henry and I was not always smooth and equal. He had the power to make or break me. I was always afraid that given time he would abandon me, as he had done so to many other women, even those that had borne him children. And without being married, I had no protection. So I held back the one thing that would make me vulnerable. I refused to sleep with him before marriage. Once he realised I was not going to be just another mistress, and he was determined for marriage as I was, it became easier. I was young, healthy, and held out the promise of an heir, something Catherine could not do. She was banished and given her proper title, Catherine, Dowager Princess of Wales, since she was the widow of Henry's dead brother Arthur. I even engineered the fall of Cardinal Wolsey, that hateful man who'd ruined my chance of a good marriage with Lord Percy. He was ever a thorn in my side, wanting to rule England whilst Henry dallied. He had to go, but not before he had handed over Hampton Court Palace to the Crown. A magnificent new suite of rooms was made ready for me as de facto Queen. I just needed it to become real. My love of learning and leaning towards new religion helped as well. I introduced Henry to a radical new book, The Obedience of the Christian Man, that professed that the subject is accountable to the ruler and the ruler accountable to God alone. No need for the Pope to rule on Henry's marriage. The Pope was ever on the side of Catherine, being a pawn to her relations in Spain, so to break from Rome was the only way forward. I also championed a new man, Thomas Cromwell, a former advisor to Wolsey and a strong adherent to the new faith. He believed that he could obtain an annulment for Henry, not through the church, but through the universities, and put in motion to the Church of England. In 1532, Henry made me Marchioness of Pembroke in my own right, raising me to the peerage and signalling my rise. Henry had arranged to meet with King Francis of France once again and taken me with him. We set sail for Calais in the autumn, and imagine my horror when all the high-ranking ladies of the French court that I knew before refused to meet me, or even to be present. To add insult to injury, Francis offered to bring his mistress. But Henry soothed my troubles, and confident of his devotion, we returned to England. We secretly wed in November, and finding myself pregnant at last, we formally wed in January 1533. My triumph was complete when in May, my friend Archbishop Cranmer declared Henry and Catherine's marriage void, my marriage valid, and I was to be crowned. This all took place on June 1st, 1533. Among much pomp, I was crowned with the crown of St. Edward and was treated as a full monarch with pageants, jewels and acclamation. The people grumbled and resisted, but I didn't care. I was finally Queen and pregnant with what I knew to be a son. I had elaborate lodgings constructed in all of Henry's palaces, with my badge proudly displayed, the Falcon, and my initials entwined with Henry's. My family was on the rise. Life couldn't be better. Or so I thought. Join me next time for Out of Favour, the Fall of Anne Boleyn.